Yo babes, I think I cracked the code. I managed to create a makeup traveling bag that is small, it's compact, and it totally fits all of my ADHD needs. If you want to know what's in here, just keep watching. So I recently came back from a trip from Italy, and this is the actual makeup bag that I took with me. I didn't unpack it just so that I can film this video. Basically, the rules to go by are just keep it simple, and if you can double down on certain products, do it. You don't want to take too many things. You don't want to be overwhelmed when you're trying to prepare in the morning while you're on a trip. You usually have less time because you want to spend more time having fun, seeing sights, visiting places, but you still want to look kind of cute when you're taking photos being at those places. So a lot of the products that I packed are products that are indeed kind of like double duty. They do at least two things, and in the end they can still create this look. By the way, yes, all of the makeup that I'm wearing now is the makeup that I packed into this bag. So we're going to start, of course, from our base. What I took is this incredible sunscreen that doubles down as primer. This is the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. It really has a very interesting texture. As you can see, it's very clear, but it has this silicone-y, dimethicone feel, and it makes the surface that you put your makeup on a bit more smooth, and it definitely helps the longevity. But of course, it protects you from the sun, which is so important when you're on a trip, and usually you're way outside more. So doubling down on primer that also protects your skin is just perfect. It's the perfect thing for when you're on the go, and this one actually makes sure that the makeup holds throughout the entire day. I really liked it, and hey, no sunburn in my face, so it actually worked. So totally recommend this. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you about might shock you, but I did not pack a foundation, not even a BB cream, when it comes to the base of making my skin look more unified in its color or hiding blemishes. I only used concealer, and the concealer I used is this. This is the Good Apple by KVD Vegan Beauty, and if you're really interested, then this is the shade Light 122. The reason why I chose this shade in particular is because it has like this salmon-y undertone. It's just a tiny bit orange pink, so it also really brightens up my look. And I'm kind of using it as if it were a foundation, though I don't put it on my entire face. And I guess you'll kind of understand why as we go on with our products. But I mainly put it at the center of my face, obviously a lot under my eyes to cover dark circles. And I was blending it actually just with my fingers. We will get into brushes just in a second. I did take a few, but hardly any. So just a little bit of concealer can go such a long way, and this one in particular definitely did for me. It has such strong coverage that you just need a few dots and you can just blend it all over the face almost. Let me explain why I'm putting it mostly in the center of my face. So now that we're going into bronzer slash contour, I'm kind of like doubling down with this product. This is the Rare Beauty Warm Wishes bronzer in the shade Happy Soul. I put this here, and this is still a creamy product. It creates some type of coverage. So you don't need to have coverage where you're already putting something that is going to cover in a way, and it's not like my trouble area is over here. So basically I was using this kind of like doubling down, bronzer, contour, a little bit here, a little bit around the jawline, just bringing it into the neck, and it just looks fabulous. So that was number one. And number two was, of course, a cream blush. Also, cream blush, it has some kind of coverage, and just putting it all over the high points of your cheeks still covers it so that you don't necessarily need to also have concealer there. And it looks a little bit more natural that way, because sometimes your freckles can like peek through. And this has such a nice formula. It's very creamy. I do suggest that you use this with a brush. This one specifically is the shade Hope. I'll just show you here. So when you just dot this, it can like really take a huge part of your hand. And if you would do that on your face, you end up just looking like a clown. So specifically for this product, I do suggest that you take a brush and, for example, take it out of your hand to put on your face so that you don't struggle in the morning with, oh shit, I put too much and now I need to maybe completely wipe it off or try and cover it with concealer. That would just spend more time while you're trying to get ready instead of spending less time, which is what we want. So I'm already giving that tip in advance. Just put the dot on your hand, take the product from your hand. It's going to save you so much time. But this product is phenomenal. It's so durable. I wore it really, really long days from like 8 in the morning, coming back to the hotel at like 11, still there. And it was hot. It was really hot in Italy. So super recommend. I also really recommend this shade, the shade Hope. This one specifically is with the dewy finish. They have others that are like a matte finish, but this one with the dewy finish, I think it looks nicer for photos. You have like that fresh look. It's nice and light on your face, just looks beautiful. For highlighter, I have this little tiny baby. This is kind of like basically a sample size. I don't think this is considered a travel size, but this is the iconic Illuminator. It's also, of course, a liquid formula, and this is in the shade Original. I have a tiny bit of it. Again, the same advice that I gave to the Rare Beauty, I would give to this. Just take a dot, put it on the back of your hand, kind of like spread it around, and then just dot it on your face. Otherwise, it will be too intense and it will kind of just look like a blob. So another tip, that way your makeup will actually be quick and not, oh, this is too much, I need to fix it, etc. And this size was definitely very travel friendly for sure. I did bring with me a loose powder, kind of like in a smaller packaging, the Bye Bye Pores by IT Cosmetics. It is my favorite anyway, but it's just that it also kind of doubles down as that, you know, whitish cream color eyeshadow that you use to set your eyes before you start putting eye makeup. So double duty, everything's doing at least two things. So this is also setting the concealer everywhere in the middle of my face and also being used for the eye makeup. So for example, the lighter part you see under my brow is done with this, not with eyeshadow. And maybe, shocker, let's already put it in there, I did not take any eyeshadow palette with me. Yes, you heard me correctly. No eyeshadow palette came with me on this trip. So this was, in a way, a certain shade in an eyeshadow palette. Next up is this little baby, a classic, the HOOLA bronzer. I use this to put in the crease, which you can see right now, and also to put under the eye. So this was also doubling down as a shadow, and if I wanted to intensify my bronzer, I could use that too. Amazing, huh? Shocking, shocking. I'm also reminding you that a product like this can definitely be used like an eyeshadow base. I mean, these pinks look really nice as eyeshadows, just putting it out there. But I mean, of course, I always like having something special for eyeshadow, and usually you need an eyeshadow palette for that, right? Wrong! So I used this amazing, amazing highlighter from Kaleidos. It's called Gifted. Look at this thing. And I mean, look at my eyes. Although, I mean, the light here is kind of diffused, so you don't see it that well. But this is basically a multi-chrome highlighter. So it goes from white to green in the most unique way ever. Maybe like this, you can kind of see it, because it has this like white, green, gold sheen. And I feel like if you just use one multi-chrome something when you're on your trip, you are guaranteed an amazing look, especially if you want to do something special. Because I mean, if you want to have a more daily look, you can just put bronzer on the eyes. That will look beautiful. But if you want to do something special for the evening, bam! Look at that! And it just looks so unique and elevated and sophisticated. And of course, it can be used as highlighter that is also very unique and very fitting for the evening. So I did use them both when I went on nicer dinners, etc. So I really think that just having that one special eyeshadow highlighter multi-chrome product can already give you the look as if you have a full eyeshadow palette in just one product. It's one and done, you're done. So this is my huge tip to you. When it comes to eyeliner, unfortunately I couldn't really find a second double down use for it, so I just took an eyeliner to give myself an eyeliner. So here is the KVD Vegan Beauty tattoo liner. This is the brown one, and what I have now on me is the brown one. I just think that, you know, it's like a little bit more chill in a way to have a brown eyeliner and it's still dark enough. It's called Mad Max Brown 20, that's the name of the shade. So it's very reliable formula, very durable. Just make sure that you do set your eyelid when you're especially going out in the heat and you're putting on eyeliner, otherwise it's just going to transfer. So you need a really nice with powder set eyelid, and that's why I took all of those things and didn't try and use just cream shadows, for example, as eyeshadow products. So just remember that. Again, just a little tip, but this is basically what I took. I also took a black eyeliner, which is this one. This is the one by Vive, and it's called the Power Ink Liner. Unfortunately, during my trip, it completely ran out. So I ended up using this more because this just ran out in the middle of my trip, but I really, really love this as a black eyeliner. It's very reliable, it stays put, it's very easy to draw, and what I love about both is that their applicator is a brush and not like a felt tip. I love that about eyeliners in general, and I never use the ones with felt tip. I just feel like these are more reliable, more flexible, more durable. So these were great. I just need to buy a new one of these. But since I did mention eyeliner, I do want to show you this. I took this little stencil. This is by Catrice. I don't know if they even sell it anymore, but I'm sure you can find something else if you don't find this. So this is like their stencil to make eyeliners, and I feel like if you're on a trip, even if you're really good at eyeliner, you feel like I want to make sure it works and that I don't need to go and fix it because I did one stroke too long, etc. So I did find myself using the stencil during the trip, even though in my daily life I never do. I always freehand my eyeliner. I did the same today. But during the trip I just felt like, let's not give anything to chance. So this is another little tip. Just have a stencil with you so that you know that you're making the line correctly, just according to a specific shape, and you know that it's going to be even, not smudge, etc. Again, just a little tiny tip that fits the situation of a trip when you have to leave at a certain time, no matter what. It's way more ADHD friendly in that way. So we were doubling down on products, right? So instead of having a brow mascara and a brow pencil, I basically took a brow mascara that already has color. I just use the brow mascara as if it was a pencil. So if I have a little hole in my brow, I just like dot that area with the tip and then kind of blend it by the little brush strokes that I do with the applicator. And it saves me so much time and the brow looks perfect. I did it now. I don't have any brow pencil in my eyebrows right now. Shocker, right? This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow mascara in the shade Blonde. Now, when it comes to lashes, I wanted to save myself time. Therefore, I brought with me just one mascara, a good one, but with a tubing formula. So this is the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. If you're unaware of what a tubing formula is, it's the type of formula that coats your lash in a tube shape so that at the end of the day when you're trying to remove your mascara, you basically just wash it with warm-ish water. It doesn't even have to be super warm, and it kind of like glides out of each lash and instead of having panda eyes, you just have crumbs under your eyes. And it ends up being way easier to wash than panda eyes. So that also helped me save time at the end of the day when I'm removing my makeup and I just want to go to sleep quickly. So this one has a great applicator that gives really beautifully defined eyelashes. The formula washes off quickly at the end of the day, but during the day doesn't crumble all over my face and stays put. So this is really the perfect solution for when you're going on a trip. And for my lips, what I mostly use during the entire trip is this little baby Nudestix Nudies all over face blush color, which sometimes I also use this blush when I didn't use the Rare Beauty one. This one from the mini Nudies is the shade Sunset Strip. It's a very, very nice kind of like corally pink shade, and it looked great on the lips. Actually, on my lips right now, it's a different product, but this is truly what I used throughout most of the trip. It's just a very fitting color for day and night. Not too bright, not too boring. And every now and then I also used a touch of this on my lips if I didn't want something very bright. Just like taking the tiniest dot and just rubbing it all over the lips so that they don't look pale also really worked well with the shade Hope from Rare Beauty. So this really doubled down as both of these products kind of like in rotation during the trip. Unfortunately, a setting mist can't really double down as anything else except setting your makeup, but I used this one by e.l.f. It's the Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. It's great. It actually works and it's not that expensive. I would recommend. So that's it with the makeup, but I did take a few tools, but basically that was it. So let's start with this. You have to have a good eyelash curler, because even if you're like thinking of, you know what, today I'm not even going to put eye makeup at all, you could still just curl your lashes and it will make your eyes look bigger just because you did that. And this specific eyelash curler just lasts all day and it's pretty amazing. So I would recommend having a really good eyelash curler. This one is from Refer. It's so good, it's not even that expensive, and it gives you an amazing curl without pinching your eyelids. Totally recommend it. Now, when it came to brushes, I had one big brush, also from Refer. I really like them for distributing the blush or anything kind of like more liquidy. And this one is that number 05. It has like this egg shape. Really, really good. Again from Refer, this is brush number 13, which is like this baby blending brush. This I mostly use to blend that bronzer under my eye so that it's small, not something too wide, and I need to fix it. So a nice, good, small blending brush for under the eye was a must. We also needed a nice, bigger one for the crease, and for that I got the Zoeva 228, the Luxe crease one, and this one just went like whoop, 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 just to put the bronzer over there. The Gifted I usually put just with my fingers, but I did kind of like brush the edges of it with this. And then for kind of like the dot here, because it's always harder doing that just with your fingers because they're sometimes just too big for the inner corner, I used a Makeup Forever brush. This one is 212 Wavy. It's very like little pointy, so it goes like boop. Really, really perfect for the inner corner. And for applying stuff like highlighter, I used 140 Wavy from Makeup Forever. A little bit more pointy, like. And the last one that I took is also from Makeup Forever, the 276, because with this one I could do this to my eyebrows and do this to my eyelashes, just like getting rid of little flakes or anything like that. All of those things just got into this little bag and could create this full face of makeup every day on my trip, though I did not every day created this. This was more like for when I go out to a restaurant in the evening, but it was possible to create this with everything you saw. Most of the time, I would just use brow mascara, concealer, blush, something on the lips, always, every day, because it was quick and easy and I could always do that. Everything else, when I had just a little bit more time. But I definitely got to wear stuff like this at least like 4 times during a 2-week vacation. So I think that's pretty good, especially when I'm thinking back on vacations that I took like a really bigger bag of makeup. It was just too overwhelming. It's just too much when you're on a trip. You want something easy. You want to know in advance what you're aiming for. And a bag like this with all of these products is so easy. You just know every day what you're going to look like, and it looks fabulous. It looks great. So make it simple, make it easier, make it faster. I promise you, you're going to enjoy your trip so much more, and you're still gonna look so cute in pictures. So I hope you liked it. If you did, please make sure to give this video a like and watch some more. There's going to be some recommendations for you during the outro, so make sure to watch another one. Until next time, I love you very much, and we'll see you then. Bye bye!